Hi, good evening. My name is Aurora Antoine Alexander. I'm excited to share with you my demonstration speech for Speech 101, Dr. Hall, Section 7720. And this topic actually is a topic that I teach as a medical assisting instructor. And the reason I chose this topic is because I believe it is important for every American to know to prevent a very serious disease that is spreading quite quickly here in America. So my demonstration topic is how to take vital signs and why. I want to start with the why. Basically, this will allow me to introduce the process of taking vitals and its connection to heart disease. I want then to explain heart disease, what the vital signs are specifically, and then I'll be demonstrating one for you. And because heart disease is an ongoing concern here in America, I felt it was important to share a very basic skill that everyone can do. You know, anyone, as we'll see shortly, from the age of 10 on to adulthood, taking vitals is quite serious, or simple, I should say. It helps with the serious condition. So let me ask, how many of you have a friend or family member who have been affected by heart disease? I'm sure many of us have. Have you ever wondered if that disease could have been prevented? And if so, wouldn't you be interested in a way to help specifically be proactive in preventing that disease from spreading? Or advancing, I should say. Well, good, because that's what I'll be discussing and going over the steps of a very simple process. So heart disease. Heart disease is specifically related to vital signs. Basically, heart disease is disease of the heart, and men, women, and children are at risk. Some of the risk factors include poor diet, lack of exercise, and it's likely that we know someone who is suffering from this condition. People with high blood pressure are at risk for developing heart disease. So the vital signs that we'll be talking about will help identify elevated blood pressure, which will help us get to the doctor sooner to, again, help with preventative measures, okay? Both men and women are affected by the disease. So ultimately, when we take a look at heart disease, it's interesting to see how women now more are being diagnosed with heart disease than men. So it looks like this: women's heart disease rates and men's heart disease rates. It's very interesting. As a matter of fact, it makes sense because 2016, we have a woman running for president. Just in comparison to 50 years ago, women have more opportunity. And as a result, we're taking advantage of those opportunities. But we're doing it all. You know, we're raising a family, we're going to school, we're working full time. Stress is yet another factor in the development of heart disease. So we just have to watch out for that. So women are developing heart disease a lot more these days, men not as much. But children, on the other hand, unless obesity is a factor, they're not really at risk. Those children who have heart concerns basically are children who have the congenital concerns, meaning they had heart concerns right from birth or early on. But again, taking vitals can help pinpoint specific red flags so that measures can be taken beforehand to prevent things from getting worse. Okay? So with that, let's talk about diet and exercise. Of course, it's a given. Eat right, do the right things as far as movement. Everybody could walk for about 30 minutes, 3 times a week, I believe is the minimum. The National Institutes of Health says that just losing about 10% of your weight will improve your health overall. Now, we know that's less pressure on the joints. We know that's less work on the heart itself. So, of course, it'll help move things in the right direction as far as preventing heart disease. So let's go ahead and move forward. Move forward because knowing how to take vitals will help us identify the red flags And from there, we could see a doctor sooner. We could encourage a family member to see a doctor sooner. We could encourage other family members to teach other people how to take vitals. Therefore, we're all being proactive. So I'm going to call one of my superstar family members here so I can demonstrate taking blood pressure. Hey, Brooke. So blood pressure can be easily taken with what we call a blood pressure machine. This can be purchased at a local Walmart or a drugstore, and it's quite simple, So battery operated, you take what's called the blood pressure cuff and position it around the patient's arm, okay? So we have here a user-friendly device. There's an arrow there, and this is specifically where you'll be placing the cuff at the base, or at the bend of the patient's elbow. So you're going to wrap the cuff around, not too snug, but just enough so that it stays in position. Have the patient relax with her or his feet uncrossed, and then start the machine. Very simple process. Everybody could do that. So now let's talk about, while this is registering the blood pressure ranges. So anywhere between 90 over 60 to 120 over 80 is the normal range for blood pressure. Okay. Now this is the average for an adult. For a child, it's typically lower. But if your blood pressure is like 190 over 200, that is cause for concern. Go see your doctor right away. If you don't have the means to purchase a blood pressure cuff, guess what? You can go to the local drugstore, pharmacy, and have it done in the cuff that they have available. Just go ahead and have a seat, slide your arm in. Thank you, Brooke. So the next vital sign that we're going to participate or that I'm going to demonstrate completing is taking pulse. Now, pulse is the number of beats your heart has in 1 minute. So normal pulse for an adult, here's another superstar Zion here, is 60 to 100 beats per minute. So when taking someone's pulse, or even your own, you want to go ahead and take it at what's called the radial artery. So you slide your finger down to below the thumb, and to the right of that bone, just press a little hard there, and then you'll feel a pulse. Feel that pulse. He has a nice strong pulse. So, and then you count for 30 seconds. I'm not going to count for 30 seconds, but just an easy way to determine someone else's pulse. Also related to the heart. If you want to take your own pulse, you have the option of taking pulse at what's called the carotid artery. So slide your finger down from the base of your earlobe and then press down a little bit. You'll feel the pulse, count for 30 seconds, multiply by 2. If you count for 1 full minute, that's the pulse, but multiply by 2 if you're counting for 30 seconds. And then finally, actually 2 more things, respirations. Respirations is the number of breaths a person takes in 1 minute. So that would be considered 1. And 2, so on and so forth. So if you count for 30 seconds, multiply your number times 2. Normal respirations is anywhere between 12 and 20 respirations per minute. Okay? And so thank you, Zion. And the last vital sign that's quite easy to take is a temperature. So temperature is taken either orally or tympanically in the ear, and they have the electronic machines as well that you can purchase at the local Walmart. So how does this all relate to heart disease? The blood flow in our veins, the number of times we breathe, the number of times our heart races, basically indicates that things are moving and operating smoothly. If any of those numbers are out of range, then ultimately go see your doctor. Now, temperature. Why do we have elevated temperatures? It's typically a sign that our body is working to help prevent something from getting worse. It's basically our body's red flag. If you have a fever, something is going on and your body is fighting that. So very simply, let's take advantage of these simple vital signs that we can take with electronic machines. And with knowing these ranges, we could really help our family members, our friends, our coworkers be proactive in seeing a doctor sooner. And knowing that diet and exercise play a big role in preventing heart disease, we can be proactive right from the start. So I have a little activity for us here, my last slide. Basically, just to review what we've covered. For our blood pressure, anybody remember the normal range for blood pressure? Yes, anywhere between 90 over 60 to 120 over 80. How about the normal ranges for pulse? Yes, anywhere from 60 to 100 beats per minute. Respiration should be, yes, 12 to 20 respirations per minute. And then temperature. You know what? I apologize. I failed to mention temperature. Anywhere between 97.6 degrees Fahrenheit to 99 degrees Fahrenheit is normal. Anything beyond that is a fever, indicating that something's going on in your body. Your body is fighting something. Make sure that you go see a doctor. Thank you so much for allowing me the time to share my demonstration of vital signs and my elaboration with its connection with heart disease. Looking forward to hearing your comments. Have a great night.